We begin with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, which held five-time world champions Brazil to a 1-1 draw in an international friendly at the National Stadium in Singapore earlier today. Rangers' Joe Aribo gave Nigeria the lead in the first half as he slotted past Manchester City's Edison. It was Aribo's second goal for Nigeria in his second cap for the senior national team. Real Madrid's Casemiro prodded in from close range to equalise just after half-time. Paris Saint-Germain forward Neymar limped off after 12 minutes in the entertaining clash despite having 70% possession in Singapore. The Super Eagles were able to deny the Samba boys the win.
It was the hard running of Osimhen, Victor Osimhen, who didn't really give up.
There it is again, that work by Osimhen and then Moses Simon, but look at Aribo's walk right inside here. There we go, from here on it was just the walk of fame. They have forced a few corners of this match, but nothing has come out of it so far. Coutinho decides to go for a variation and play it short, and he comes up short, hoping for the ball to come right back at him. It does go down to the crossbar, and surely it'll be the equalizer. Flag stays down, Brazil are right back in it. It's Casemiro.
Excellent play by Brazil to just turn it around a little bit. They know that if they hung the ball into the corner, or well, into the box, they're not going to get any change. Just changing it up a little bit, as you can see Chiche. As we have a look, ball just played out to Dani Alves. Just hangs it out in the front post. Marquinhos with the header that just slammed across the crossbar. There's Casemiro.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino says that the attendance of women at a football match in Iran on Thursday was historic and a step in the right direction. After a ban from football stadiums that has been effectively enforced since conservative Islamists swept to power in 1979, Iranian women were back to see Iran beat Cambodia 14-0 in a World Cup qualifier. What a welcome back package.
Very confident that this will become the norm. I was extremely happy that for the first time in 40 years women in Iran were allowed not only to go to a football game but to buy as well tickets to attend the game. It's symbolic, it's historic, it's a step. Is it what we want? No, but it's a step in the right direction. And therefore my gratitude goes to everyone, but in particular to these women who were cheering for more than 90 minutes.
Mercedes Formula One driver Valtteri Bottas has roared to victory in today's Japanese Grand Prix as Mercedes clinched the Formula One Constructors' Championship and guaranteed themselves an unprecedented sixth consecutive title double. The Finn crossed the line 11.3 seconds ahead of Sebastian Vettel, whose pole-sitting Ferrari proved no match for Mercedes in race trim, leaving the German to fend off a charging Lewis Hamilton in third. The result moved Mercedes 177 points clear of Ferrari, allowing them to wrap up a record equaling sixth consecutive Constructors' crown with a maximum 176 points from 4 races still left up for grabs.
With a pit stop behind.
And on the international scene, as Turkey advances its operation against the Kurds, the United States is pulling out all of its troops from northern Syria. Defense Secretary Mark Esper said Turkey likely intends to extend its attack further than originally planned, an assault that is aimed at forcing out Kurdish forces. Syria has now announced it is sending troops north to face Turkish forces. According to the United Nations, more than 130,000 people have fled homes near the conflict, warning that the figure could soon triple. Earlier, Kurdish forces reported that hundreds of foreigners affiliated with IS have escaped from a camp in northern Syria as Turkish offensive thickened in the area. The Kurds say the detainees attacked gates at the Ain Issa displacement camp while fighting raged nearby. Japanese troops have been deployed a day after one of the strongest storms in years hit. 23 people have died so far, while 17 more are said to be missing. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe says government will do its utmost, promising to deploy more troops if needed.
Aerial views of flooded Nagano Prefecture show various homes and facilities submerged in floodwaters. Emergency crews have been using boats to help residents trapped in homes, and nearly 150,000 homes in the Greater Tokyo area are said to be without power and in some instances without running water.
Early on Sunday.
Some areas of Japan saw up to 40% of their average rainfall in just a few days. And many of those who died were either buried in landslides or swept away by floodwaters. Earlier today, staff of a hospital in flooded affected parts transported patients to other facilities. Volunteers said the ground floor of the hospital was inundated, damaging the elevators and the kitchen, making the facility unoperational. Apart from military deployment, all hands are on deck on recovery efforts. Following the cancellation of their final Rugby World Cup match against Namibia in Kamaishi, the Canadian players channeled their disappointment into helping the local community recover from the storm. They took to the streets, shoveling mud and clearing debris. Meanwhile, residents cleaned up their surroundings. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has offered his condolences to the families of those killed and says his government is working to save people's lives and property. The government also announced the deployment of 27,000 members of the country's self-defense forces and rescue workers to save residents stranded by Typhoon Hagibis, the country's worst typhoon in more than 60 years.
The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is confident he can see what he calls a way forward concerning a Brexit deal before the October 31st deadline. He has warned his cabinet, however, that there is still a significant amount of work to be done. His words have been echoed by the European Commission, but the Labour Party says it would wait and see but would oppose anything damaging. Parliament will meet on Saturday and vote on any deal achieved by Mr Johnson at a Brussels summit this week. Talks held in Brussels today between the UK and EU officials scheduled to continue tomorrow. And the main news again. Wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, has returned home after a long absence from the country. She cleared the air about the video circulating on social media about her. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu today declared a state of emergency on Lagos roads, ordered massive construction work on critical roads and highways. Of course, residents of flood-prone parts of the state groan over the impact of flood in their areas, call for help. Also today, police rescued 9 children kidnapped in Kano and trafficked to Onitsha in Anambra State 5 years after their abduction. Plus, you heard the US has pulled out its troops from Syria as Turkey extended its attack on Kurds than originally planned. Well, that's News at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker. Have a good week ahead.